And we're back with another episode of the AC Milan Zone podcast. Always an exciting time of the year. It's derby time. It's another derby win. And we're joined by our favorite Interista. Some call him Uncle Sharma. We call him our good like charm. 2 for 2.
Oh,
Uncle
Oh,
Sharma, how are you doing?
I'm sick of this, man. I'm not accepting no more invites. This is the last time I'm coming on. And then next time, actually, I'm going to say, depending on the result, I'll join. That's it. This is the last time I'm going to say yes before the game.
More than fair, more than fair. And you wouldn't, if the streak continues, you might not be on for a little while. And this is the
Yeah,
first
good,
of many
good.
small digs, small digs throughout the podcast. But thank you for joining us. If any of you Milanisti are curious to see what the dark side looks like, we cannot recommend Uncle Sharma enough. Any other Inter content is disgusting. He manages to make it palatable. So if you want to see what the other side looks like, he is the absolutely leading source for anything Inter and some great overall Calcio and Serie A content. All the links will be in the description. Oscar, welcome back. We spoke just 12 hours ago in our live react. Ever since then, we've been analyzing, breaking down this game like only we do here on AC Milan Zone.
only we.
How are you feeling after having slept and woke up to all the good content that we did after a derby win?
Yeah, I don't know if it's something, if you can even call it hate watching on just on social media, and a couple of our personal close friends just scrolling through, reading comments. But yeah, I still feel, I shouldn't say, I mean, obviously very happy for a win like that, but then it's sort of settled in that it is still 7 points. Inter is still 7 points clear, but we'll go through it. I think your favorite celebration is this nowadays, Uncle Sharma. So I've seen you a few times trying to rile up the Milan fans, but 7 points, and I'm just happy to have won two derbies in the same season again, or at least not lost.
Yes, I guess we get straight into it. Milan beat Inter at home 1-0. Some interesting facts that I want to roll out, as you know I like to do, Oscar. Never before as a team from the city of Milan won the Scudetto while losing both derbies. So this will likely be the first time in history. The closest we got to this was Inter in 1962-63 season, where they won the Scudetto after drawing both derbies. This is also the first time the Scudetto winner will have 0 points against the second in the Scudetto race. This is if Inter win, likely, and if Milan keep the second spot. This is the first time it happened since the introduction of 3 points for a win. Before that, it was 1982, Roma and Juve. Interesting enough. More firsts. Pervis Estupinian is the first ever Ecuadorian to score for either team in a Milan derby. We'll talk about him. Is this the rebirth of the Brighton legend, or is this a Schelotto case? I want to get your opinion. He's also one of 26 players that scored his debut goal in a derby. I won't rattle off all the names, but some nice names like Kaká and Ronaldinho and Rossi. And last but not least, Kivu, first manager to lose both his first derbies since, and I promise you this is a real name, and the Italians will like this, Giuseppe Chiappella, 1975-1976. I've saved this photo just so that whenever there's a Kivu failure, I can post that on Twitter and call him, Kivu Chiappella, just for the memes. Obviously, I have no idea who the man is, but shout out to him. Obviously, we'll start with the guest. We will get on to the refereeing decision, which I know was a big topic of conversation on Twitter. But general thoughts, 90 seconds, couple sentences. How do you feel about this derby, and where do you think it all went wrong for you guys?
Yeah, well, no, I hope you guys appreciate the charity FC that we are, Internazionale, because it was our 118th birthday today, I found out. So great way to celebrate that as well, giving you guys a win on our birthday. Just, beautiful gift, and reviving that. This is what we do this season. We revive players, we revive careers. Remember at the beginning of the season, Adzic for Juventus scored a banger.
What
when he's
happened to
done
him?
nothing.
Fell off the face of the earth.
So and then Liverpool, they were going through their worst ever season up until they played us, and then since then their season has now recovered. So You're welcome, Liverpool fans as well. And now we're also reviving the career of Pervis Estupinian as well. The meme that I know you guys treat him as a meme player, and Fofana as well. So Fofana assist to Estupinian. So double gift again for
Whoa,
you
whoa,
guys.
whoa, whoa, whoa. You might not be aware of this, but not this podcast, but this side of this podcast is quite pro Yusuf Fofana, but we'll get on to into that as well. Sorry, keep
No,
going.
fair, fair. But no, it's disappointing with Inter. I feel like last time I came around, came on, I was quite, I think, happy with the Inter performance. It was, little details that we missed out. Zoma spilling the shot and then Pulisic, being smart and getting the goal. But I was happy with the performance. This time round, I'm not happy with the performance, and I've not been happy with Inter since, well, pretty much all season. Any big game, even the Juve game, we beat them. But you obviously know some interesting circumstances that happened in that game.
What circumstances?
Well, it's just something related to some guy called Bastoni. Um, but yeah, Roma's probably the only other big game that we've won in the league. In the Champions League, we've won nothing, no big game. So it's a theme with Inter all season. We don't turn up. We get tactically outclassed as well. I think Allegri tactically outclassed Kivu last night. But the thing that really disappointed me is that it always seems like we're the team that it's hard to like how to put it into words, but it always feels like the other team wants it more than us, even though you guys, you know, it's the Scudetto race you could say was almost dead, but now you've revived it. Like there was more on the line for Inter. You're the wanting to be champions. It just they both felt really flat, and it's felt like that all season in big games. So, yeah, it's something that hopefully doesn't bite us in the ass now because we haven't technically don't have any big games left to the end of the season, but it's very concerning moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, very clear-headed as always from you. We will get more later on because we had some questions from our followers on Instagram about the status of Inter, and I'd be curious to get it from obviously an Inter insider. For me, some of the mental aspects are really interesting because you're stuck in a great position, but this sort of limbo, and it's really fascinating. And I think sometimes some of the decisions maybe almost from a cultural level, from a locker room perspective, can lead down this dangerous path. But Ozzy, to you from our side, how did you see the win? A very different win, as Uncle Sharma said. I mean, when we first talked to him this season, it was very much a oh my lord, Magnan is the greatest. Sommer, we had the discussion about if we swap goalkeepers, it wouldn't be it, and all that jazz. This time felt different, no?
Yeah, from a purely unbiased point of view, I think this wasn't the greatest showing of a derby ever, but certainly not the worst. From a very biased point of view, I think we played a lot better than we did last derby. We kind of got bailed out last derby, while this time, like Uncle Sharma said, that Allegri's game plan worked to almost perfection. I mean, obviously, you can't say, "Oh, we have to score 1-0 before halftime, and then we just defend." But I've kind of felt like that. The goal we scored came straight from the training ground almost, and I'm sure Allegri and Ducci, etc., have studied what the centre backs of Inter are doing. So it was like a well calculated goal. It wasn't a Jan Sommer spill for Pulisic just to tap it in. Estupinian, what a meme! I eat my words. I think you're a lot more on the hype train, Stefano. I was reading through your notes, saying was to get into it about how good he is. I thought that he almost unraveled the whole derby performance when he gave the ball away to eventually led to the DiMarco miss. But overall, this was a bit of a 6-pointer, and perhaps not as big, but it almost was a 6-pointer in the sense that if Inter win this, it's game over for the Scudetto. Now there's the hope, like fire's not gone out fully yet, but 6-pointer. I'm happy with our performance and surprised by Inter. I can't say I watch Inter week in week out, but some of those big names of Barella and
Di Marco.
I guess Di Marco Bastoni, even to a certain extent. Jan Sommer perhaps didn't have much to do, but I think in your breakdown, Uncle Sharma, even you were saying like that positioning could have been a bit better, which is the difference. It could have been the difference between 1-0 and 0-0. But overall, I'm happy with how Milan performed. I'm even more happy that there's uh, some refereeing controversy, which I don't think it is controversy.
Yes, I think that's what we'll go to. We'll go to next, as only fair, and then I think we can break down some of the heroes that I can explain. I'm not sure I believe fully the Pervis redemption arc, but I like a good story. But of course, we'll start with you, Uncle Sharma. 95th minute, Inter's pushing. Honestly, we were saying in our live reaction, we all know how Allegri was gonna play this after we went up in the half. Milan always have the strong 20 minutes when we come back and play the second half. He was gonna try to still defend, but try to attack in the space. We had some half chances with Pulisic, Leao, and after those 20 minutes of sort of nitro boost finished, it was gonna be we settle back. As he says, take pride in defending, and that's what we did. And, there was obviously pressure, but I felt like if we had to play 10 more minutes, I would have felt pretty confident in terms of the amount of output that you guys were creating, that we could have still brought the result home. But of course, in the 95th minute, off a couple of corner craziness, play develops. I believe it was Pio Esposito who had the ball. Or actually, no, it might have not been Pio Esposito. I'm looking at the picture now.
Dumfries.
About that. Dumfries, yeah. Hits Ricci's in the end, in the arm. Big chaos. A rather quick VAR check. We'll see what Open VAR says, I believe, tonight, if I think they air it on Monday night. Rather quick check. Play goes on. Milan wins. Inter complain to the ref after the game. What is your take? Penalty, no penalty? Did it maybe change sort of in the heat on the moment versus today? Floor is yours.
Furlani League. It's a Furlani League.
Oh,
That guy
I love it.
Furlani wouldn't be able to organize anything to the scale that Marotta can. Furlani is out of his depth with anything.
You
Sure, he
overestimate
can't do
the ability of our management to be useful, even if it comes to influencing the referee. But no, this is great. I feel like I've said it last podcast. I try to disagree with you, and you make it so hard because you're often reasonable, and this is the first point of contention. So, sorry, go ahead. You have the floor again.
No, I mean, as you said, like a day after, I'm not like as passionate about it as I was yesterday. That was literally because I used to take screenshots for the game as I'm watching the game for my post-match live, and then I tried to tweet out if there's something quite big or a big moment. So I just did that. First thing that comes to mind is Marotta League, and it was like that angle is obviously the one where it looks that one is the one where it looks bad. As you said, the other angle is different. But the issue why I'm still kind of I've moved on from it today, but it's the frustration comes from this whole blowjob brothers that you and Juventini have become this season, where you have this association of the Marotta League or Inter get all the calls. So it's kind of like the whole Bastoni thing, like how that's been so exaggerated this season, like the fact that he's become this villain from a WWE or something, that he's getting booed at every game. And we see players like it's the Serie A. I'm not gonna defend the Serie A when it comes to this type of stuff. It like happens literally every single game. Like it happened to Leao at that moment, in that moment when he was fouled by his own player, and then someone touched him in the chest and he fell down and he won the foul. Like it's just, I'm not even like I'm angry at Leao. Like it's just that's the stuff that happens. But now this kind of whole situation and environment that's been created, that's where the frustration comes from. The penalty, whether that is penalty or not, I personally don't like these handballs, because I feel like footballers nowadays have to like cut off their hands or their arms these days. But the reason why a lot of Interisti are mad about this is because Bisek was given pretty much the same, one of the deciding matches of last season against Lazio. Bisek was literally defending with his arms behind his back like this, and then the ball hit his arm, and like, what is he supposed to do? Cut off his arm? But I know that by the rules, like some people explained it last night, it was he hasn't increased his silhouette because it's on the side. The ball was going to hit him anyway. But at the same time, in the slow mo, you also can see him. He does go out towards the ball as well. So for me, it's a bit 50-50 on that. I personally wouldn't give it, but in the Serie A context of penalties I've seen given all season or previous seasons, to me, it looks like that type of soft penalty. But yeah, I'm not as passionate about it. It's more just the whole Marotta League thing that's been created around Inter.
I was hoping to get into a screaming match, Stephen A. Smith, get off the weed and something, but freaking Uncle Sharma, I always count on him to be fairly fair for an Interista. I was going to pass it on to you quickly, but I mostly agree, unfortunately. A few points that I disagree. I think, yes, what was shared around was the first, the top screenshot here, where it looks very bad. Of course, at the bottom here, you see where the ball is going. So there's a few differences. We can also go through the rules. I think this is a better angle. So obviously, the first thing that matters in terms of the current rules in Serie A is intent. If someone obviously tries to handball, that's a handball. Doesn't matter how it goes. This is clearly, I wouldn't say the case. And then it's exactly what you were talking about. The two rules in case there is no intent is, does he increase his silhouette, as the Italians say, meaning does the ball, would the ball continue if there wasn't an arm there? Which I think is the case with Bisek. But we'll get on to that. That's the problem, right? The ball would have continued its trajectory here. If Ricci doesn't have his arm there, that ball hits him in the chest and it's not going towards goal. And then, yes, the talk about movement. There is and maybe the previous screenshot kind of shows it. His arm starts here and then he goes here and then he's actually going back. According to my eye, I can obviously show the video because Serie A will absolutely ban us into oblivion. But I think he's in the motion of going back. But I invite anyone to make up their own mind. And I know these rules not only because I know the rules, but because last time we were reminded of exactly this, funny enough, was last year in a Napoli-Inter game. Where Dumfries himself, which I guess we've gone full circle, gets a handball here. It is rightfully, according to my non-expert opinion, not called a penalty for that exact reason. Doesn't expand his silhouette. If his arm isn't there, it would just hit his chest. And this is a shot on target, which is already, for me, different from the Ricci situation. And so we move on. For me, this is, again, with the obvious, clear, inherent bias.
But we should have had another penalty in that Napoli, that specific Napoli game.
We're just going to analyze every single penalty situation going back to the season 03-04 when things started streaming and whatever.
I've got the screenshot here.
But this is what, I bring this up because this is literally the last time I spoke about this type of rule, so I'm not trying to go back through the receipts. Because, as you said, the environment has gotten so toxic that this is what we're doing, right? Marotta has the press conference says, but in this game, this happened, and then the Juventini say this, and then the mayor of Milan says, but Del Piero's a cheat, and then and it gets and then we're playing a game that will never end. Ozzy, for you, penalty, non-penalty, clear, non-penalty, clear, half call?
I don't think it's a penalty. I think you have to I think you guys broke it down very well in terms of everything from the silhouette, is it deliberate or not, natural positioning. Then you also just have to take into account the ball. Like if he didn't have an arm, if you cut the arm off, it would have hit the side of Ricci. It would have probably fallen down the exact same spot. There was no interplay around necessarily that would have been able to pounce on anything. And I'm sick and tired of VAR. And I know we watchers after the game could put things in slow-mo and TV will do what TV does best and, show every single angle and framing. But if you just watch it in real time, there's zero chance Ricci can react. And I don't think that this, obviously this, if Inter were given a penalty, would have changed the game. It's what, 70 whatever percent chances somebody will that a penalty is scored even higher. But end of the day, I don't think that's where Inter fault last night. And I think the booing was always going to happen with Bastoni. It's a derby, trying to get into his head. Do I feel bad for him? I can't. He's earning millions and millions of euros a season, and he's one of Italy's best players. I thought the fallout from that was catastrophic. I think it's a bad, both from Inter and Juve, and fans
Agreed.
online. I think it's not a good look for the league. And yeah, like Uncle Sharma very much said, it happened to Leao to a certain extent. Although I'm pretty sure Fofana's boot actually clips him on the side here. Now I can't tell you
It's
what
hilarious
Leao's
that we
pain,
got the foul though of that.
but it's hilarious that we got the foul from that. It just goes to show how, how fucking stupid it is. And then everyone goes to Twitter. Not everyone, but a lot of people start arguing online about it, and it happens every game. Like it's been happening for years as well. Everyone dives. Everyone,
Sure.
everything
It's
from
not the booing. The booing is fine, like, but it's
Yeah,
more
yeah.
like the calls for him not to go to the national team.
Oh,
and
that
all
was
type of shit.
pathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pathetic. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Where
also
does that even come from?
that just comes. Italian
Like
media
literally, then
is truly
Chiellini
the
wouldn't
worst.
get like half of his appearances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the record, I mean, in my breakdown after that sort of fallout, and for me, I was breaking down technically our game against Como, where I thought it was outrageous. Maybe our stupid American management is too busy being in the States to complain, but the fact that Fabregas stepped on the pitch and grabbed the player mid-play
Oh, yeah.
is infinitely so much worse than diving, which happens every freaking time in this game. And what, he apologized and Allegri gets sent off and our Americans are too busy not to complain, and then nothing happens. He doesn't skip a game even, which would have been already too little, but nothing happened. You don't see that in Sunday League. So to me, I'm happy to say that I thought it before. I think it now. The Bastoni and Barella are rats, just like I'm sure Uncle Sharma thinks Salemakers is a rat. I thought that before he dove. I think it the same or more now.
He was very nice last night, though, Salamakas. He was very nice.
Yes, this is actually what I wanted to talk about. I thought it was hilarious that the boos are clearly getting to his head, because I saw Salemakers stay on the ground after some contact, but what I thought was a dive, and you guys have the chance to counter, and he clearly falling to the pressure of the boos and kicking the ball out, like trying to regain some sort of image. And it's like, ooh, this means the boos are really getting to your head when you're like, oh, derby counter, a player that's kind of dove is staying on the ground and you kick it out so we can all give you a little clap. I'm not sure that's a sign of someone who's.
But Teo's not there anymore, so you've lost the big rat.
This
big
is
rat.
true.
The
The big fight.
biggest
I wonder.
the king of the rodents.
Yes, I saw Dumfries come on actually, and he just looked like he didn't have that sort of fire and passion without Teo. You need your yin to your yang.
I missed that rivalry, man. Definitely missed that.
Yeah,
I know.
I feel that's also something that kind of is missing in the last this season's derbies. There's been there'll always clash, and not really clash heads, but it's none of that. I think it was the only thing was like Modric trying to pick up somebody when he'd been on the ground, and Modric was Lautaro was pushing him off, like trying to help someone up the last derby.
Last derby, yeah.
That's really the only thing I've seen.
Yeah,
But
quite tame.
Yeah. Even all the complaining was more down to the referees. There was a very small fight. I mean, kind of push off with Magnan, but all basic stuff. And as we saw, Salemakers and Bastoni play acting as buds, which is very, very cute. But as always, we do our heroes and culprits of the game. Ozzy, I'll start with you to get the Milan side. Then Sharma, maybe you can tell us also from the Inter perspective who you thought, in obviously a night where maybe not a lot of your players shine, who is the redeemer, and maybe who you expected some more from. Ozzy, you want to start with the hero?
With the hero, the hero I think is there's quite a few of them. Obviously Estupinian for that goal, purely because he scores his first Milan goal. It's a goal in the derby. It's a 1-0. The weight of it is beyond quite a lot of goals that people have scored, and in previous heroes of the game where we perhaps haven't played as well, I've always pretty much given it to the only goal scorer. So maybe Estupinian, but I have to say that Modric played a beautiful game. We hold him on this podcast to a higher standard than most players, but this game round, he really showed his true colors. Not that it's been missing the last few games, but this game, not sure what Kivo's game plan was around him, but I thought he was allowed to roam quite a lot, and everything from being able to pass that ball out to Tomori that kickstarted our goal. But yeah, defensively as well, I thought he was solid. Showed a bit of getting a bit of anger at the end as well, trying to take out Suchic's legs. Um, for me, it's a I shouldn't say 10 out of 10 performance from him, but one of the best ones he's had this season, and one of the best ones for in by a Milan player this season.
Yeah, agreed. Again, it's such a pleasure, and I try to say it to myself and also to remind our fans and Milan fans as a whole. Don't take it for granted. Even when you don't see the goal or the assist or the illuminating ball, which are there's plenty to watch. Even just the little stuff, even just how much we rely on him. Whenever our defensive three don't know what to do, we just pass to him, and that ball is in a safe. The turnovers are so rare. And I promise you, you can put anyone. You can put even good players, Jashari, who I rate a lot, or take a playmaker from any other teams, your Locatellis, your Çalhanoğlu, stuff like that, and you would see a lot of mistakes.
But I think the only real
Doesn't happen with
mistake,
him.
and yeah, one of the only true mistakes was when was it Leao that lost the ball, and then Modric takes a step up. Can't remember against who, and then what happens that happened when Mkhitaryan came through on goal, and it
Yeah.
kind of felt that was it Brozovic from a couple of years ago that just ran through the whole pitch just straight in
Yeah.
the middle, and then we
That
could
was
talk about
old school
Mkhitaryan's finish
Pioli
there, but it was
ball
like,
reminder where
yeah,
we press
yeah.
full pitch, and then all
Yeah.
it takes is one first time pass and one last ditch tackle missed, and all of a sudden they were feasting. But yeah, salute to Luka Modric, 4 years old. I loved the tackle at the end. Honestly, it wasn't to go against Inter, but he thought it was fouled, and then he just goes in, earns the yellow. And when your 40-year-old does that 95 minutes in, after having run like crazy, after playing almost every minute this season, the rest have to fall in line, because this man has gone to a World Cup final. This man has more Champions League that some of these players have season played, the Ballon d'Or, and that type of leadership is maybe also something that Inter perhaps lack in the long term.
That's going to be his midfield partner as well at the World Cup, Sucic.
true.
I know hero as well. So it was an interesting matchup. How about for you, Uncle Sharma? Who, again, in a night that maybe not a lot of players shined, who was your Inter sort of best player?
No, embarrassing all round, poor all round. I think the only player I would save is probably Zielinski. He has been our best midfielder this season, and again, not that he wasn't particularly outstanding, just in a field of 4 out of 10s. He was probably the only 6 out of 10, the only guy trying to make things happen, carrying the ball, trying to dribble. We didn't shoot from the edge of the box as well, which is something that we've been doing quite a lot against you guys. I remember in the last derby we were shooting on site almost, especially when Hakan is there. I guess him not being there, we missed that. But Zielinski's got a shot as well. I think Barella tried one, and it was like went so wide that it was embarrassing. I mean, in general, Barella has been this is his worst season at Inter since we've signed him from Cagliari, and he looks really, really jaded. Had the captain's armband last night, but definitely not a captain.
But what do you put that down to? Just because is it Kivo's newer system? Is it have I missed an injury from the beginning of the season that he's carrying? Because so I guess he's supposed to be in his prime, and not much has changed. His midfield partners haven't changed apart from Sucic.
No, I mean, a lot of Interisti, we're trying to kind of figure out what's happened to him. But over the years, we always have said that he's been overplayed, not just from this season. Since Conte, this guy was always a starter. We never had really a backup for him. And for Italy as well, he's played, even when he's not in form, he plays for every single game for Italy. Euros, Inter, COVID. I think when you look at those charts, I was trying to do some research for a video I wanted to do on it. He comes up in terms of minutes played in his age group. It's him, Bruno Fernandes, and just like I think Trent, Alexander-Arnold, some guys, like in terms of total minutes played over the last 8-9 years of their career. These are the guys that have played the most minutes across competition. So it seems like we've burnt him out. He looks like a burnt out player. Like he hasn't got that spring in his step. That's what he was known for, that Energizer Bunny, but also technical ability. Now he doesn't look like he can he got completely dominated last night by Rabiot
Mhm.
and the midfield. Like he often gets, even when he was at his best, Rabiot I think is a little bit of his like a kryptonite for him. But yeah, in any other big game this season against Locatelli or Thuram, any midfield, he's been getting dominated. So I don't know what some decision might need to be made. I don't want to be reactionary on him, but at 29, looking the way that he does now, it's very very concerning. And a lot of those Inter guys are looking a little bit like that, but more, I would say, just coming to the end of their career, like clearly, like Mkhitaryan, he's already at 37. He shouldn't already really be starting for Inter in the
Yeah.
derby now in 2026. Um, Acerbi finally being phased out. Zoma surely, hopefully phased out. And
Another Handanovic.
yeah, we've done the same exact thing again. We've kept the keeper for too long. We should have just already replaced them this season. And some of those guys are coming to, I think, just a cycle end. Like after Inzaghi left, I think they waited to do the refresh. I think they're going to do it this summer rather than last summer. They kept it going this year, one more year. But the guys like even Marcus Thuram, guys like Hakan as well, I think they've come to an end of their cycle. Hakan keeps getting injured now. Like he didn't
Hmm.
even play last night. Apparently he's injured again. That's, I think, is already his third muscular injury this season. So he looks physically finished. Similar to kind of the Brozovic situation that happened with few. So yeah, we're kind of seeing this. These a few players are definitely coming to the end of their time at Inter, and some big decisions need to be made.
Yeah, it's tough to see, and obviously, as an Italian with a couple, hopefully a couple, at least one very important game coming up in just a few weeks, you hate to see the score play like this, because Barella is key, because Di Marco is probably gonna win the league MVP, but I've seen him drop stinkers after stinker when it matters most. And again, this is not me unnecessarily shitting on him. I know
No,
just how
no,
good he is. It was the first words that Alexis said yesterday. He said I had to be switched on the whole time because we know how dangerous he is. Even if he has a poor game, all it takes is one well delivered cross because he's just that good. But I've seen him, unfortunately for Italy, drop a lot of stinkers. I've seen him do some terrifying things in a Champions League final. So and Bastoni has done the same. So now this is where, and again, I'm playing armchair psychologist from my couch. What the fuck do I know? Absolutely nothing. But it's a culture, I think, problem, and it starts from your leaders. Yeah, when Barella is getting more angry with his own teammates than he is with his oppositions in a derby. I'm from my perspective, a Milan fan. I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. Keep freaking out your own teammates. Um,
yeah,
when Bastoni is more worried about the whistles, and so you throw away a counter attack in order to look like the good guy and get the applause, that's great for me. Lautaro and his struggles in the big games is known, and if that's sort of your core leadership, you start having some problems. I
yeah.
pushed this question a little bit forward because there was a lot of people asking us about your outlook on Inter. Is Do you think this season, assuming that you do win the Scudetto with this big lead, do you find this season a bigger success than last season? And then I'll explain why I asked this question.
Yeah, I think again, we need to get this Scudetto over the line for sure. Because if we bottle this one, it's gonna be then it's gonna be even worse than last season.
Yeah, then you
Stefano's
need
just trying to. You're
Yeah,
trying to find the clips, Stefan. You're trying to find the clips here,
yeah,
just to
the
be ready to send.
Beyonce dark magic is getting you. Yeah, then at that point you need to blow it up. I feel like you just need to.
yeah. Then I'm closing my channel as well. Like that's it. I have nothing left to do in this game. Um, no, I think with the annoyance that we had with Inzaghi was that you should like there was clearly Serie A is. I've also been kind of against this kind of thing about against the Serie A. I know we've done bad in Europe this season, but I don't think it's this the quality of Serie A this season is any less than it has been the last few seasons.
Yeah.
So the fact that Inzaghi could only deliver one Scudetto out of four in this level of Serie A, it was a big annoyance. So if this season our focus has come back onto Serie A and we deliver a Scudetto, I think that should always be the minimum. Should have always been the minimum with this squad that we had. So, and now that he's getting the squad that, as we said, is probably jaded, coming to the end of this cycle, I think a lot of neutrals didn't expect Inter to be competing. I expected them, but I didn't think we were going to be +10, coming into March, and +7 at this point as well. I was expecting to be in and around at the top with Napoli. That was my expectation, to be competing with Napoli. So it's definitely, I'm not going to let the big match losses affect my overall judgment of the season. Is, I think, for Kivu, if he does it in his first ever season as well, as a guy with 13 games under his belt from Parma, and maybe even a Coppa Italia in there, if you add that on top, like, that's fantastic first season. But if he doesn't, if at this stage now he doesn't deliver any of that, then it becomes a disastrous season that,
Sure.
like, he needs to clear out the club, like delete the club.
Yeah, the Arteta picture on FIFA, just delete the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked because honestly, I think it shouldn't be seen. I think that's kind of the culture problem that I keep bringing up. Is, to me, is any Italian club would be jealous to have the season you had last year, and obviously it's so tough. You lose in the Coppa Italia, you go out in the semifinals against your rival in the derby. You lose the Super Coppa final against your arch rivals. Obviously, you lose the Champions League final the way you did, and you're 1 point from the league. I understand that leaves some intense scarring, but that should be seen as a good season. I understand. I hate the way. I mean, I love it, but I hate the way if I'm trying to be an Inter fan, the way you approach a Champions League, and even the quotes that I hear. You got against Bodo, losing twice, 5-2, and Bodo is good, and they were going 200 miles an hour and all that. But it's Bodo. This is the biggest game
Yeah.
of their life. We'll see if they pull another miracle, even though it's not such a hard fixture. And to hear Barella saying, "Yeah, this happens with new formula. We got a penalty at Liverpool against last minute," and it's like that. This is gross. We had arguably maybe the worst Champions League loss final in terms of mental scarring in history, maybe Istanbul, which I try not to speak of. We didn't go out the next season and say, Ancelotti, we don't focus too much in the league anyway those times because we're all about Champions League. Yeah, whatever. We just, even if we got in the groups, we can focus on the league. No, we went to the semifinals, and then the next year we went and won it all. This is the type of mentality that I think you should install in your fans, in your football club, and also for players to come in. We heard that Akanji came to join you this summer because he wanted to play Champions League football, but then fast forward a few months and they asked, you whether to win the league or the Champions League, and you should say, we're fighting to win everything, and instead it's no, the league.
Yeah. He was the first one to say it as well. That's a good point. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, again, you're in a position that I think last year, but also this year, that any club, us, even Napoli, would happily swap. But you're sort of creating this.
I think
this
my
gap.
answer was more because of I was looking at the 4 years of Inzaghi. But yeah, if you talk about if let's say that was Inzaghi's first year, I would have said, yeah, that's a fantastic first season to have for Inzaghi.
Yeah.
Because that
No,
was
that's
supposed to be the culmination of his 4 years at Inter. That's I think the context that I'm adding to it. But if you look at it on its own, I agree with you that it should be seen as still a positive season.
And then, Ozzy, I'll come back to you and we'll talk also about some of our players that didn't do so well. But before, I want to talk about Purvis. But last question, because you mentioned Kivu and the end of the cycle, is there a little bit of a fear? I read this and it kind of resonated with me that this is a Arne Slot sort of situation where he comes in, kills the first season, and you're like, I didn't think Arne Slot was going to be that good. And I was like, oh man, he's a much better manager than I thought. And then you realize, maybe there's some club leftovers. Now that, you lose a couple players, you have to handle some of them. Maybe you buy some players that are good. Are you a little bit worried about next season? Or are you saying, no, I've seen enough good, even with all the bad that Kivu has brought in the big games, I've seen enough good that this is not a Arne Slot situation, especially when you're, financial, like all of us, our financials aren't as good as, Liverpool and can go buy Isaac and all that.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's fear of that because this season he's basically, and that's what he should have done when we signed him. I was like, just keep the 3-5-2. I know Inter fans are fed up of the 3-5-2 now. I know you guys have been to play it, but we've been playing it for like 6-7 years.
Yeah,
So
I don't love him. We've been into one season, and I'm not particularly in love with it.
yeah, exactly. So imagine doing 7 seasons of that. But I said, everything, the blueprint is there, and he's just tweaked a little bit with a bit more of a high press, more intense style of play, and has worked in the league anyway. But next season, as I said, because there's all those contract expiries, and probably at some point some players just need to be moved on. There's going to be a lot more changes next year. Apparently, the formation he wants to play is 3-4-2-1. So we're going to finally maybe sign some wingers or winger type players, different style, different formation. So it's actually going to be, we're going to see who Kivu actually is potentially next season. So, and we don't know who Kivu is, because this is not what he did at Parma. At Parma, he was playing 4-3-3, or like very defensive 4-5-1. So it's weird. I didn't know who Kivu was when we signed him. I was only going off the 13 games, so I still don't know who really Kivu is. I just know that he's what we've seen is a very good man manager. He's managed to get these guys fired up again after the heartbreak of last season, and
a tough locker room with some personalities that not so easy to handle.
So yeah, I mean, we know he as a player as well. He was a big personality, captain of the Romanian national team. So all of that we know about him. But yeah, next season will be the real test. And yeah, I am kind of scared, and because of the ownership situation, like you guys know, we have similar owners to you guys, the American investment fund. I don't think it's not going to be like a revolution where it's like, oh, we sell Thuram for 50, but then we buy his replacement for 100. It's going to be, we sell Thuram for 50, and then we buy his replacement for 25, and then we see.
Yeah, and a nice free transfer of a striker that's 35.
Yeah,
that's the
there's gonna be some formula, and they'll kind of claim it's ROI. You know what I mean? It won't be like he scored more goals or less goals, but
yes,
he should
whoever the new Taremi is, we'll fight over him again, and then we'll feel like we won. Whoever grabs him, we feel like we won in August, and we'll be crying by January. Ozzy, you were saying that you briefly, because you mentioned Kivu, that you respected how kind of Kivu handles at least some of the personalities and the subs. Is that still the case? You thought?
I mean, I can't. How he handles them, I can't say I follow Inter all the time, but I just hooking. But I mean, Barella wasn't having a great game, but at least I thought he showed a bit of passion and tried to run his heart out a bit. But taking off your best midfielder on paper in the minute that they did, as with the captain's armband, I think that's really bold. It was like the midfield wasn't working, and I think that's essentially where Milan got the better of Inter, which was the midfield battle of our three against your three. Mkhitaryan didn't play well. Zielinski had an okay game, like you say, 6 out of 10. Barella a 4 out of 10. So maybe changes needed to be done, but it's still pretty bold to take off Barella that early on, and that's on the biggest stage, which is the derby, where if you win it, you win the league essentially.
His substitute Frattesi had 2 touches in those 25 minutes.
I said in the live reaction, my dad texted me and said, Frattesi's coming on. I think we're winning this.
Hey, so maybe it isn't getting the better of him.
Yeah. And he's done this all season, to be fair to him, also with Lautaro.
Even Lautaro.
Which I respect, because it's hard locker room to be in, and if you are a coach,
well, he keeps sticking with Jan Sommer though. That's the one that I'm just like confused. Like, what more do you need to see to bench this guy?
This is true. And if I see one more tweet this summer that you're waiting for 30 million, 35 million for Frattesi, I'm gonna start contacting my lawyers and suing people, because this guy's now I think 7th choice midfielder in a midfielder 3.
Literally, yeah.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the PR. Just cut your losses. We've all had absolute terrible thing. We've had Alcardara.
I don't want to hear as well. We're scaring clubs away. It's like,
just don't play it.
Like 10 million, and at least someone will come in.
Yeah, cut your losses. That's I don't want to see it. 35 million again. But we keep saying, and we'll talk about Pervis. Let me talk about him. Ozzy, I agree with you. Modric, to me, gets man of the match. But I just like the redemption arc. We talked, all of Milan world talked about how this was gonna be the problem, us included, me included, and then he just finds an absolute banger. Again, Sommer maybe could have done a little bit better, but even with better positioning, he just 200 miles an hour ball under the crossbar from Pervis Estupinian. I was not expecting this. I love a story like this when it's a player that works hard and just struggles and struggles and struggles and finally has a moment. It reminds me of like Adli under Pioli. Now, if I had to bet, do I think he goes on and reclaims his starting position and becomes a Milan legend? No. If I had to put money on it, I would say no. I would say that this is going to go down as perhaps a Schelotto goal in the derby. But nevertheless, a shout out to him. Also because beyond the goal, I thought he had a great game. I think he got obviously confidence boost. 7 defensive contribution, 8 recoveries, 3 clearances, 1 interception. He was supposed to be our Achilles heel, and he held up well, especially against Luis Enrique, who we kind of made look a little bit foolish on that goal. And I know Inter fans are not enthused by his performance. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Pervis, Ecuadorian history, and one of the most in Italian we say ignorant celebrations as well. I don't know what this is, and then he kind of does a few, and then he does a dance.
He does like 15 different celebrations.
This is when you know. This is when you know. I feel like he realizes like, oh, this is not happening again in this shirt.
And he does like a 3-finger salute.
He did the 3 to the head, like Melo. Shout out Carmelo Anthony for all NBA fans. Pure ignorance. This is gonna go down in derby lore. But yeah, shout out to Pervis nevertheless. Was he a player that maybe didn't shine for us that you were a little bit disappointed by?
Yeah, I'm torn. Well, not really that torn. It's Rafa Leao. I hate these types of performances because he is playing injured. There's no other way around it. The man, there was like 2 or 3 chances where 2 years ago, even a year ago, you'd think like, oh, he is absolutely burned. I feel like I'm a parrot. I'm saying exactly the same thing I said last week and the week before, and it's like he's getting himself in good positions. Where he meets a defender pretty high up the pitch, and you're like, Leao would have burned this guy easily because he is one of the fastest players in the world with and without the ball, and he just doesn't have that extra sprint in him. Other than that, because that's where I can't blame him because he physically can't sprint properly or to his max. So then, therefore, I was telling my dad, like, you take any player and you take their biggest asset, what do they have left? And we have been discussing this to the world's end about the last, his finishing and decision-making is where he needs to improve on in order to become properly world-class player in my eyes. And he didn't have it. He lost the balls. He lost the ball quite high up the pitch, which led to inter-counters, a bit of sloppiness, if you will. His finishing there was finishing on when he was on his right foot that went super wide. That was, he could have done better. This chance that you're showing now with this, I know his weaker foot, but that doesn't, he's still a professional footballer inside the box. I think he should do better with that. So yeah. And I hold Leao to a higher standard, I think, because he's supposed to be better than this. It's not like, if Estupinian puts in this kind of performance, I'll be praising him. Maybe, or like even a Fofana or Tomori. But yeah, Leao for me, he's the culprit. He didn't, and his poor performance didn't lead to us losing or drawing. So thank God for that, because otherwise Gazzetta will have had a field day about Rafa Leao. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
It was funny. The commentator on CBS said when he was 1v1 against Akanji, he turned around because it's Akanji. Like, nah, that's not why he turned around.
Yeah, and it's feeding all these Premier League watchers. They're like, "Oh, Leao's trash. He's washed. Saka is a million times better." It's like, well, you guys just don't know. You don't know.
Yeah. It's he had a few of those. The chance that Pulisic created was the most obvious one. Yes, he's hurt, and that's annoying. But I agree with you. And as a Leao defender and enjoyer, there's still a few chances that he can do better. And this season, he's been good about picking his spots and being better with his shooting because, again, he's not so mobile. He has to, which I hope translates into next season when he's hopefully able to run again. Would love to see that.
But now I'm like, first I thought it was Allegri's fault for playing him so much, even though he's injured. Now that we've had Nkunku and Fulkrug fit, not that they're necessarily better players, but let's switch it up. But now I feel like it's come to Leao where he puts his hands up and be like, Coach, I can't do this anymore. It's hurting not his image, but his confidence. He wants to get fit for the World Cup for Portugal, even though
Yeah,
Portugal are
World Cup years
stacked.
are always
He's still
tricky.
World Cup year. It's too late now probably to rest him because I mean not that the games are coming thick and fast, but it's 10 games to go. We need
Yeah,
him, and
yeah,
it's a bit too late.
yeah. Agreed. Super quick, and then we'll go into a very brief preview for both of our teams for this weekend. Uncle Sharma, if you had to pick the worst of the worst, who were you most disappointed by? We talked a little bit about Barella, but anyone else who stands out?
It's hard to pick who the worst. As I said, everyone was really crap. But yeah, Luis Enrique, because of letting Estupinian having his moment,
Yeah,
letting him running behind. I mean, Allegri said they worked on that specific moment in training because they knew he's not very good. He's not very switched on defensively. So
yeah,
yeah, him for sure. Stand out, worst performer. Jan Sommer, literally, if he just stood where he was on Estupinian's shot, he would have saved it, like like Magnon did for Mkhitaryan, and yeah, Mkhitaryan as well. Definitely one of the worst. But I don't know if you saw it on Twitter. I just retweeted it. Someone tweeted the Mkhitaryan goal in you remember in the Champions League when Inter beat Milan, and he
Mm-hmm.
scored straight to the middle. He did the exact same shot last night, basically, but that time Magnon moved out of the way, and last night he just stood straight and Mkhitaryan shot straight at him. So it's funny how
yeah.
2 3 years later he's done the exact same shot, still hasn't learned how to shoot somehow.
Yeah, sliding door moments. Yeah, sometimes the goalkeepers have to be a little bit smarter and be like, he's probably crossing this over and moving early. And I don't know if Manyan learned or and sometimes we all say, hey, you gotta get that on target. You gotta get that on target. I guess that's what he did. But yeah, that was tough. Also because the rule of football, you miss a chance on one end, couple minutes
Mm,
later, the goal on the other side. That was it happens every time. It's
yeah.
physics law.
And I must say, sorry, the strikers are all basically anonymous. So all Interisti all season we've been calling for Boni to start over Turam because he's been out of form. He basically did nothing last night, completely handled by Pavlovic, De Vinter. Esposito slightly better, but still nothing. So we really missed Lautaro and Turam last night.
Yeah, although I think the strikers, they tried, but I think that's more, or maybe I'm biased, but I think that's more on the Winter and Pavlovic doing particularly great. Very physical. I started watching a little while away from the ball and just started seeing how, Esposito is trying to create space and getting those early hits away from the ball to create space, and Pavlovic is doing just the same. De Winter was great at hitting the player before as the cross is coming in, so that you get the better position. De Winter was actually my underrated player of the game, so a quick shout out to him. I think then as we are going along, we can head towards a wrap up. A question. I think I got all of the questions. There's one that was for you, maybe Uncle Sharma, which was, is the Derby della Madonnina the biggest in the world in terms of derbies? And then to me, I'm always interested in this, is this to you bigger or more important to win this than the Derby d'Italia? Because I never really understood it. Now, obviously, context matters. If you're fighting for the Scudetto with one team rather than the other, that's going to be more important. But just in general, the lore, which weighs heavier on the shoulders?
I just hate Juve more. I just hate them more. I think it's different for some. I think for Milan-based Interisti or Italian-based Interisti might be different, but I just have a pure hatred for Juve that it's doesn't yeah, Milan unfortunately can't match at the moment. So that one for me, I feel it more, the Derby d'Italia. But this season, because we were kind of competing for the Scudetto, so it did feel back again to those levels that we were a few years back when we were, competing against each other. But in terms of the world, because yeah, I'm here in the UK, I find it the most beautiful. I mean, but that's just I think my personal bias for sure. Uh, But I don't feel that hatred. I feel, again, as I said, because I hate Juve more. I don't feel that hatred for Milanisti like m- as much as well. I mean, actually, recently it's changed. As I was saying, it feels like everyone's against Inter now. We used to be like the kind of, yeah, Inter, they're all right, they're nice. Now everyone is hating on Inter, so it's kind of changed on that side of things. But to me, the San Siro, especially now that it's gonna die, that we're gonna be taken down, the atmosphere, the vibes, to me, is the most beautiful derby in the world.
There's only 10 more derbies left at the San Siro.
Oh, there you
Other
go.
than that's just from
That's
the league, of
wild.
course. We might meet each other in Coppa Italia. We might meet each
Sure.
other's in another
Well,
semi-final of the Champions League.
Italian
But
bureaucracy allowing.
oh yeah,
Yes,
true,
also true, also true.
true.
We might need to organize a San Siro outing. Derby tickets are hard to find, but maybe we can sneak one in before 10. 10, when you have
Uh,
those numbers in your mind, we gotta go one more time to
uh,
the Scala del
it's
Calcio.
hard. It's hard to find tickets if Modric is buying 60 for friends and family. Christ alive.
Yeah, if Sergio Ramos is out there taking spots with his
Yeah.
weird fits.
Uh,
No, very, very fair enough. Aussie for you, biggest derby in the world. If you
yeah, I
take out
was thinking
Classico,
about
obviously
this.
not a derby. It's hard to match it.
No, no. So yeah, so it has to be a derby with, like, city rivals, right? And you look at the Premier League, you've got your Everton, Liverpool, you've got your London derbies, of course. You've got River Plate against Boca Juniors is crazy mental, and I don't watch the Argentinian league. I'm sure they're the two teams that are fighting for titles all the time. But from a world class stage, you've got two of the biggest teams in the world in an 80,000 seat stadium. You're allowed to sit next to each other because whilst these Boca Junior River Plate games are fantastic to watch, other side of the world, scrolling through my Twitter feed, I'm sure you can't go there with a Boca shirt at River Plate Stadium and vice versa.
Yeah.
So
We
I
like
think that's the
atmosphere, but
beauty.
the risk of death is a
Yeah,
little bit is a little bit too
exactly.
much.
Yeah, so I think that's why it's so beautiful is that you can sit next to an Interista as a Milan fan at the San Siro, and you have these. Nowadays we don't, of course, but we have our tifos, and it's sort of this brotherly love, but it's the distant cousin on that weekend. You'll go to work with an Interista at a
Yeah.
mechanic store or
Yeah.
working in a shop or an office, but that week you won't speak to them, and then the next week it's fine. And we've met each other so far into Champions League semi-finals. I wish we could. I don't. Well, yeah, and we've never played in a Champions League final. I don't think we ever will, because we're not that good. But yeah, I think it is the most beautiful derby in the world. It has to be.
Here we go. If we lose, confirmed. If we next derby, winner buys,
It's the
loser
worst.
buys tickets for one of the few San Siro derbies left. And I say this now because we won seven. No, not lost seven in a row. So I'm hoping that to go to San Siro on Uncle Sharma's money. But we're running long, so we'll wrap it up. Just a quick preview. I put up the table right now. Hopefully, it's not too small for all you YouTube viewers. Uncle Sharma, give us a percentage. Inter's winning the Scudetto. How much percentage?
Zero.
Nine. No, stop
Zero.
it. Stop. It was 98 before, now it's 95. And I'm being generous.
No, like, these guys do have a bottling gene, though. Like, let's be real. I know you would agree. These guys.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll give them is usually when we're not in a close title race, we do usually run away with it, like we did in the Seconda Stella season couple years back, and under Conte, and without Champions League. So when usually those two things are happening, then we're usually okay. When we're close, like if this was like 3 or 4 points, I
Yeah.
wouldn't trust these guys. I would have told you, like, no, this is like less than 50 now, because I don't trust these guys to take over the line. We still have this +7 gap. We're not got any big games left. So I'm gonna give it 55.
Wow. How
Okay.
conservative. Aussie, for you, I think last night you said
That's a
12% chance we still have.
12%. Yeah, I don't know. We've got a percentage. I'm just looking at, like Uncle Sharma said, it depending on who they're playing and who we're playing against. I think our fixture list is harder, but anything can happen. That's the beauty of football. Bottling genes are certainly perhaps in the inter players genes, but realistically, Inter should be winning this.
Yeah.
So
But big
I'm
games
gonna
are good for you guys. They're bad for us.
This is true. Somehow,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
true.
very true. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be
And
surprised if after this, we end up dropping more points than you guys do until the end. This is just the disparity. The
yeah, I
last
think
game you
it's Atalanta, Fiorentina, Roma, Como, Cagliari, Torino, Parma, Lazio, Hellas Verona, Bologna.
yeah.
Bologna might want to fight the last game in order to get a Europa League spot, maybe.
I think they're focused on the
Fiorentina is,
Europa League. Yeah,
yeah,
without Champions League.
Hellas Verona, yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at Milan's, and I hate playing against Lazio. Torino's always shit for us. Napoli is Napoli. Udinese, you never know what you're gonna get, and then we're getting like Atalanta, Genoa, Cagliari, our last three. Genoa might be fighting for survival. Cagliari as well, and then you've got Atalanta who need points in order to try to push for Europe. So
Yeah, unlikely. And I said, Inter, for all the troubles in big games, last time they lost in the league was against us. Ever since then, record the points and everything. So I think they will continue to coast and absolutely beat up on some terrible teams. Which at this point I kind of hope they do, because I really want to watch Italy in the World Cup. So if I can get Di Marco to start, beating up on some of the peasants down the league, and pump himself up to have a good performance for Italy, at this point I will take it. Whatever means that I can enjoy a cold beer and some public viewing this summer in Zurich watching Italy against Canada.
Well, we need to qualify first, bro.
And that's what I'm saying. And the games are coming soon. It's just a couple weeks, less than 2 weeks. So it's or maybe 2 weeks. It's coming thick and fast. Prediction time. Sharma, you play Atalanta next, who obviously probably won't have their head to beating you as much as they will to go up against European giants. Bayern Munich. We always end the shows with a score prediction. Give us your score prediction for Atalanta, Inter, and scores.
We were at home, right, on that one. So, yeah, as Interista, I know how hard it is to kind of manage that double Champions League header in between Serie A and against Bayern. I feel so sorry for those guys. They were the ones keeping Serie A alive, and then they got drawn against Bayern.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and we usually, like Atalanta, it's our record against them is crazy. Like we just smashed them or like beat them every single time over the last like 4 or 5 years. And yeah, I think we're going to continue. I think we're going to still continue this kind of, we're on this struggling phase at the moment. We look a bit tired physically. So I think we'll sneak past 2-1.
Any scores? I guess you don't even know who's going to be playing. I don't know if Thuram gets a shot again.
I still don't know if Thuram is going to be fit. And I think Lautaro is still out. So I'll give it to Pio and Zielinski.
Ozzy, we play Lazio. They're having some troubles of their own, being deserted by their own fans, probably rightfully so. We'll see if Lotito manages to sell. He keeps picking up his phone to prank phone calls from fans, which is insane. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 17 times, shame on me. Not according to him. How do you think this ends for us?
This season's been tricky. We got a 1-0 win in the league, then a 1-0 loss against them in the Coppa Italia. That Coppa Italia performance from us was one of the worst ones this season for us. It always feels so difficult. We're playing at the Olimpico, right? We're playing away, yeah. So
yes,
yeah, I think it's just gonna be Cortomuso 1-0. Fulkrug gets subbed on and scores.
Huge. If I wasn't a Milan fan and I had some money after this outplaying Inter for the first time, we won, but fully outplaying, it's been a while. All the press, all the push, all the momentum is towards us. I would put a nice 5, whatever currency of your choice on Lazio winning, because this is what we've been doing. We've been so great at every squandering every little bit of momentum we have. Sarri, I love Sarri. I love the way he plays football. I feel so bad for him. He got some of the worst deals in Italian football signed, and then Latito was like, by the way, no transfer window. Everyone wants to leave. In January, I sell some of your players and get you Daniel Maldini, and somehow he always invents something. We'll be favorite, but I'll go. I don't know who's playing in the back. We'll see how healthy everyone is, but clean sheet 2-0 Fofana for the true lovers of the game.
God.
and
My
and
God.
Rafael because the hate will get loud and he likes to score when the hate gets loud. Anyway, thank you to both of you. Especially thank you, big man Uncle Sharma, coming in despite hurt, emotionally hurt, physically hurt. The man still comes to AC Milan Zone. We respect that. All the links in the description for him. Go say hi.
Last time. It is the last time.
Last
ever.
time, no, we love it. We'll do. I mean, now I'm putting you on the spot, but we'll have to do an end of year wrap up show like we did with Lex and hopefully Wayne as well. Go over some of the predictions. I remember Wayne telling us that they were gonna finish second when we played them. I remember Lex saying they were gonna finish second. So at least one of those two is gonna be very, very wrong, and maybe both if Como continues to do what they're doing. But thank you all. And as always,
Thank you, Uncle Sharma.
Yeah.
Forza
Forza
Milan.
Inter.
Forza Milan.